Yo, what's good? Let's see. Hold on 1 second. Let me. What's good? What's good? Hey, Shalom. What's good? How y'all feeling? All right, let me get everything set up real quick. I'll be going live just randomly. No notifications, no nothing. What's good, man? I'm gonna go into one of these books I got. Peace, love, and light. Peace, love, and light. Nay, what's good, sis? What's good? Samo was good. Righteous Trading Circle was good. Peace, love, and light. Sherry Bonner. Peace, love, and light. Marion or Marion. Shalom, shalom was good. How y'all feeling? Where my book at, man? To lesser Hill. Shalom was good, sis. You a dude or you a female? I don't want to say the wrong thing. Hold on 1 second. Let's see what's this thing. I just had to. Oh, here we go. Yep. All right. It said, what are we talking about tonight? Well, tonight, we're gonna go into this one record. Okay. I'm not gonna get ahead of myself and do this record, that record all in one video. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into one record at a time, right? All the books that I've read over the years that have assisted in my elevation, right? And like when we talk about self-mastery, we talk about like just reconnecting, realigning with the creator. You feel me? And just all the wisdom that's out there. So I'm gonna go into some of the records outside of the Bible that has helped me. But by me going into these records, I'm actually interested, right? I'm interested in your thoughts. When we go over these things, like when I read what I read, I want to know your thoughts on some of the things I read, okay? Because you have a lot of people out there who would say, it ain't no point in us going into these other records. They can't do nothing for us. These records don't hold no weight. You feel me? Like it's just pointless, right? But I beg to differ. I disagree. Only because I've read these records. I went through the whole book, did all the highlighting. If you go back and listen to a lot of the songs that I've made over the years, a lot of what I read in these other books, I put in the lyrics. And people like would never know, right? They would never know that a lot of the wisdom that I acquired over the years were from, reading these other books. So I'm gonna go into it, and that whole thing about chewing the meat, spitting out the bones. Yeah, we're gonna see what that looks like. Okay. Marianne, you said I'm 19 and love your music, sir. I appreciate that. All praises to the Most High. Kia, you said, oh, what's good, Kia? Peace, love, and light. You said great topic. Let's communicate. Let's do it. You said why is 80 80 degrees outside and you wearing a jacket? Actually, it's like 40 something, 50 something here. It's raining outside right now. It's storming. It's supposed to storm tonight and tomorrow. And then the temperatures are going to go back up to like the 70s, 80s.
Maury wants to know if you can help him unload the stuff out of the car real quick.
You ain't got to do it. You can say no.
I'm live right now.
Oh, you're live currently?
It's all good.
But I can, I mean, what, is it a lot?
Is it a lot? Maybe like 2-3 minutes? How long do you think?
To unload it?
Yeah. Could I just, I mean, is it heavy stuff? Could I do it?
7 minutes max.
7 minutes?
Yeah.
Let me see.
He said he'd give you $10 for it. I mean, but I don't think,
Hold on, y'all. Nate said, hey.
Hey. What's up, everybody?
It's raining and it's cold.
Yeah, I know. You said rainy and stormy here also and a bit chilly. Can I ask a question? Hold on. Let me give me like 5 minutes. Give me 5 minutes. Let me help my bro real quick.
Hey, everybody.
No. Give me 5 minutes. Hold on. All right. What you got to do? Oh, okay. Be safe out there in that rain. I said, be safe driving in the rain. All right. My apologies. Had to help the bro. 1 second. Where's my phone at? Hold on 1 second. You got that feeling. Yeah, you got that feel. Dang, man, it don't even got the thing on here, bro. That's crazy. All right. To Lesser Hill, I'm gonna go back up a little bit. To Lesser Hill, you said, "Can I ask a question about a book from your teaching last month?" And female, what if you can remember what video? If you tell me what video, I'll know exactly what record it was. You see how you pronounce that word? Bhagavad, Vita, or Gita. I know the book. I be having a hard time saying that word. Was a good one for me. I read bits and pieces of it. It's on my list of books to really, dive deep into. But yeah, I read bits and pieces of it, like when I was putting together presentations years ago, especially the one I did on was it the chakras, and I went into the number 7 and the symbolism behind it and everything like that. So yeah, that was one of the records that I had to get into, but I wasn't able to, fully dive deep into it though. You said, how is the kitten? The kid, she good. She growing, she becoming more playful. I could tell she trusts us, you know what I'm saying? Like she lets you know when she hungry. It's so funny because like even with the litter, right? When I set it up, the first day she didn't pee or poop in it, right? But what I did was I took her paws, I put her in the litter, and just did that with her paws so she can get used to it or whatever. And like right after that, she started pooping and peeing in it. So she good. I really do not have no complaints with that cat. None at all. Atara, you say you started any of those books that I sent? Not yet. I will though. Celeste, you said the book you use for the only way out is to go within. It was a mixture of books. It was a mixture of books because if you're referring to the beginning of the presentation where I, did a lot of commentary or whatever, it was different quotes, not necessarily that came from books, but like you got to understand, like years of me doing research, putting all this stuff together, I came across different quotes that resonated with me or whatever, and I told myself that if I were to ever put together like a presentation, I would use these quotes because they aligned with what I was bringing out. So yeah, different quotes from different people. Books though, I got one book that I quoted from, that I got excerpts from. Dang, forgive me. It's so crazy. I got the book with me right now. The one I'm trying to think of. Hold on. Yeah, one of them is The Occult Anatomy of Man. Let me see. Another one is the Kabbalion. You see that? Yeah, this one right here. That's one of them. And it's so crazy because, you know, throughout the years, I talk, you know, I like in my music, I rapped about polarity. I talked about polarity. Even in my presentations, I always talk about polarity and how everything comes in twos, right? Up, down, love, hate, right, wrong, light, dark, so on and so forth. And what helped me get a grasp on it, like a real good understanding on polarity, or what people call duality, is going into this book right here, because it has a whole chapter on polarity. So, 1 second, let me see. If you look, you know, the Hermetic philosophy, the principles, mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, principle of gender, mental transmutation, the mental universe, and everything. Like, this is a really good book. Really good book. Korea. I know we've been taught, and I'm gonna talk about this more in the presentations that I'm doing, but I go ahead and say it, like, for a long time, we've been led to believe that there's separation in everything, right? And to be honest, that's an illusion. Separation is an illusion. Nothing is really separated. All is one. You understand what I'm saying? But to give you an example, I always talk about, you know, the spirit in the flesh, or your higher self, your lower self, the animal nature and the divine nature, right? And I know whenever we're bringing out in these teachings, we talk about getting away from the lower self, you know, your animal self, and going into your higher self, right? That God-like nature. But at the end of the day, they're not disconnected, right? They're all, it's a universal relationship. Like, they're tethered. There's not one without the other. What it boils down to is finding balance, because it's one thing. It's just that with this one thing, you have different extremes. You understand what I'm saying? Of that one thing. So the thing itself is God. But when you're in a low vibrational state, you understand, you're operating in the animalistic nature. You're operating in the lower planes of consciousness. And when you're in that, you're going to experience what comes with that, right? Pain, torture, depression, so on and so forth, sicknesses, illnesses, disease, all that, when you're operating in that nature. But then once you start to educate yourself, and once you start doing better and overcoming, you know, you start going up and up and up. And then you go into those higher planes, and that's when you start experiencing peace. You know, you start operating in love. You start, you know, it's really simple. I'm not the best at articulating it, but it's really simple though. I think that, you know, different cultures explain it in their way, based on their geographical location and everything, and you know, all that. But anyway, that's not the point of this live. The point of this live is we're going to go into a book that I've had by me for about 6 years now. I had this book about 6 years, and outside of the Bible, I feel it has helped me tremendously, especially with different aspects of myself. You know what I'm saying? Like it has made me see things in a different way, gave me a new perspective on things, a different outlook on life. So I'm going to go into this book, and whenever I mentioned this book to people in the past, they would always say, "Oh, that's a new age book," or, you know, that book is heresy. That book is this, that book is that. But like I told y'all before, when it comes to books outside of the Bible, any book that was written by man, I have a different approach to these books than other people. When I read these books, I'm not reading these books to form a religion or belief around what I'm reading. I'm not, you know, even like I'm coming at it as a student. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I'm not upholding this book over this book over this book. I don't care nothing about that. When I go into these books, I'm going into them to see what can I pull out of this book that can help me on my walk in my journey. That's my purpose for going into these books. I don't care about all the outside influences. I don't care about none of that stuff, right? One thing I won't do is idolize a book. Not going to do that, right? Take these books to be gods or make these books out of gods or anything like that. I don't care nothing about that. I'm big on self-development. I'm big on applying what you read. You understand? Not just reading it just to read it, not just reading it to say that, hey, I read this. You know, because sometimes we get caught in our ego. We you know, we have to say these things, you know, because we're truly feeding our ego, but nah, this ain't what none of that is. So the first book I'm going to go into is the Aquarian Gospel. I've used this record in my presentations. And to answer your question, sis, this is one of the records too, the Aquarian Gospel of Jesus the Christ. I've been reading out of this book for years. I love this book. And like I say, when we talk about chewing the meat, spitting out the bone, this is a great example of that. So I'm going to pull it up right here. 1 second. Let me pull it up. Okay, 1 second. Hold on. Are y'all still there? Can y'all hear me? Let me know if y'all still there. Let me get this up real quick. To share audio, share a tab. Okay. All right. Cool. Now, I've been told in the past, and I'm just being honest, I've been told in the past that, when I started sharing these other records, that I don't believe in the Bible, that I don't believe in Yahshua or Jesus. I've been told all these things, right? People think that, by me reading these other records that I'm into Freemasonry. They think that I'm into, Eastern mysticism or whatever the case is, right? And I always tell people I'm very misunderstood. It's crazy for anybody to say that I don't believe in Yasha when I promote the teachings of Yasha. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if you look at my presentations, I teach what Yasha taught. Even in my own personal life, how I interact with people, how I deal with people, I pattern my lifestyle after the Messiahs. You know what I'm saying? Now, if I'm being completely honest, my perspective on things, regarding Christ or Yasha is different than others. But
did you already get some spaghetti?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I just think it's crazy when people say that. But then you'll have some people to say, well, the Christ that you're bringing forth is different than the Christ that I know of, or is you're speaking of a different one. And I find that funny too. And this right here would be a great example, right? Because somebody would say that, okay, you're going into another book, you're bringing another Christ or another Jesus or another Yasha. All right, we're gonna see about that, because what I'm gonna do also is I'm going to pull up just a simple Google search. I'm going to pull up what are the characteristics of a demon, what are the characteristics of a devil. And we're going to see if what I'm bringing forth aligns with that, right? With any of those things, any of those characteristics. Because if I'm not mistaken, I thought the devil or demon's job is to steal, kill, and destroy, and to, turn you away from the Most High, turn you away from doing good. You know what I'm saying? Anything that's good and positive and high in vibration, or, truly tapping into that love, right? That Yasha expressed. I mean, a devil wouldn't want to teach that. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna look into it. Yeah, Christ is a state of consciousness. It's a state of being. It's a frequency. And like I said in my presentations, not only is it a state of consciousness, but it's an actual substance too, an actual oil that the Most High forms inside of us every month. But due to our ignorance, right, and lack of self-awareness, we kill it. And therefore we speed up, how can I say this? Our death rate, just put it that way, our death rate, it speeds up, because the Christ oil is the essence of life. You know what I'm saying? It's basically what regenerates our bodies, prolonging our life, right? And much more, but we don't know that. And because we don't know that, like I said, we kill it through overeating, having too much sex, and You know what I'm saying? All the things that we shouldn't be engaging in and overindulging in. Yeah. All that stuff kills it. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into this book. We're going to start from the beginning. I'm not going to read the whole book, like chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. What I'm going to do is go to the areas of the book that I felt was very helpful to me in my journey. So we're going to start out in chapter 8. The whole book is good. The whole book is good. And like I say, when you're reading the book, of course, you know, you chew the meat, spit out the bones. You're going to see some things that's going to be like, you know, that ain't right. You know, that ain't legit. But that's why we study. That's why we research. That's why we, you know, cross-reference and, you know, we do all that. So where we at with it? Let me. It's like what y'all see on the screen. Is that cool? Like, is it big enough or do I need to make it bigger? Hold on, let me see if I could make it a little bit bigger. Okay, here we go. Here we go. I'm zooming in on it now. Okay. All right, so let's go down to chapter 8. This was really profound to me. And I want to say about 6 years ago, I made a video about this. And I remember people telling me, oh, you off and you this, you that. But I want y'all to let me know if it makes sense to you. Like logically, not only logically, but in your own life. Okay? In your own life. And what everything that you've experienced over the years, I just want to know if it makes sense to you. It made sense to me, perfect sense to me. So in chapter 8, the title is Elihu's Lessons, the Unity of Life, the Two Selves. Now, hold on, let me keep going. The devil, love, the savior of men, the David of the light, Goliath of the dark. Okay. Now, in my presentation, I showed you all there's in multiple places where it refers to the self. Okay. Anytime that it refers to the self in the Bible, it's referring to the lower self or the flesh. Right. And what's attached to that was always a devil or demon. Okay. An animal. But anyway, check this out. It says again, Elihu met his pupils in the sacred grove and said, no man lives unto himself, for every living thing is bound by cords to every other living thing, right? Showing you that there's no separation for real. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will love and not demand love in return. They will not do to other men what they would have, what they would not have. I'm tripping. Let me start over. They will not do to other men what they would not have other men do unto them. There are two selves, the higher self and the lower self. Okay. The higher self is a human spirit clothed with soul, made in the form of the Most High. The lower self, the carnal self, the body of desires, is a reflection of the higher self, but distorted by the murky ethers of the flesh. The lower self is an illusion and will pass away. Okay. The higher self is the Most High in man and will not pass away. See, just even up until this point, that's profound. That's facts. Your lower self is an illusion. And I'm gonna go even as far as to say this flesh, this suit. I always say this suit, this physical needy machine that we're all in. This is not who we are. And what we got to stop doing is identifying ourselves with this body. You understand what I'm saying? We're just using these bodies to experience, to have this human experience. But this is not who we are. It's an illusion. It's going to pass away. But what will remain is your soul, which is ultimately made in the image of the Most High. You know what I'm saying? It's divine. It's eternal. Anyway, the higher self is man, is God in man, and will not pass away. The lower self is the embodiment of truth reversed, and so is falsehood manifest. The higher self is justice, mercy, love, and right. The lower self is what the higher self is not. The lower self breeds hatred, slander, lewdness, murders, theft, and everything that harms. Why? Because all those things come out of the minds or the hearts of the carnal, right? The lower planes of consciousness. Anyway, it says, in everything that harms, the higher self is mother of the virtues and the harmonies of life. The lower self is rich in promises, but pure in blessedness and peace. It offers pleasure, joy and satisfying gains, but gives unrest and misery and death. It gives men apples that are lovely to the eye and pleasant to the smell. Their cores are full of bitterness and gall. If you would ask me what to study, and y'all have, see if you can remember what songs. Now, this is what I want y'all to do. Comment down below, right, in the comment section or in the chat, if you can, based on what I'm reading, if you can tell, oh, he used that line in one of his songs. Check this out. Verse 14. If you would ask me what to study, I would say yourselves. And when you have studied them, and then would ask me what to study next, I would reply, yourselves. He who knows well his lower self or his flesh or his animal nature knows the illusions of the world, knows of the things that pass away. And he who knows his higher self knows the Most High, knows well the things that cannot pass away. So thrice blessed is the man who has made purity and love his very own. He has been ransomed from the perils of the lower self and is himself his higher self, right? Basically, a man who overcomes his flesh, overcomes death, overcomes all that, right? It says, men seek salvation from an evil that they deem a living monster of the nether world. And they have gods that are but demons in disguise, all powerful, yet full of jealousy and hate and lust, whose favors must be brought with costly sacrifice of fruits and of the lives of birds and animals and humankind. And yet these gods possess no ears to hear, no eyes to see, no heart to sympathize, no power to save. Now, why would a devil say this? Why would a demon say this? And that's what devils and demons promote. They want you to idolize. They want you to create idols to worship to, other than the Most High. So far, what I'm reading, this is of the Most High. Look, let me finish it out. This evil is myth. These gods are made of air, clothed with shadows of a thought. The only devil from which men must be redeemed is self, the lower self. If man would find his devil, he must look within. His name is self. If man would find his savior, he also must look within. And when the demon self has been dethroned, the savior, love, will be exalted to the throne of power. Right? So I want to stop at verse 22. Like I said, on your own time, you can read the whole thing. But well, I finished it because it was only one more verse. The David of the light is purity, who slays the strong Goliath of the dart and seeks the Savior, love upon the throne. Right? So over the years, I have quoted these things And people have told me that, he's new age, he's this and that. But then I flip the script on them when I can show them the same thing is being said in the scriptures. And they look crazy when I break it all down. Now, let's go to chapter 11. And a lot of these, y'all got to understand, when I read these, it's not going to be this whole chapter, right? Some of them, it's just going to be a couple verses. Some of them may be the whole chapter, but they're not long at all. But we're going to go to chapter 11. And like I said, all the things I'm bringing out to you, these things are what helped me kind of zone in on self. Not as like when I say self, because when you say self, people are like, oh, he worshiping self. He making himself to be. No. When I say self, right, it just makes me look at myself and look at all the things that I'm dealing with. You feel what I'm saying? Like, and all the things that I need to overcome. The things I need to fix or whatever, right? What chapter I said? 11, right? Okay, hold on. So chapter 11, verses 9 and 10. So peep this. Matter of fact, no. Let's start at 1. Let's start at 1. Again, Elihu taught. He said, the Indian priests became corrupt. Brahm was forgotten in the streets. The rights of men were trampled in the dust. And then a mighty master came, a Buddha of enlightenment. Now, let me stop. This is why I felt it was very important that in the last presentation, when I went over the etymology of the words Christ and Buddha, you saw that it's really no difference in the two in what they mean. You dig what I'm saying? Like Buddha just means enlightenment, one who is aware, one who knows, you know what I'm saying? Same thing likewise with the Christ, one who is anointed, because if you're anointed according to the scriptures, you know all things, you know what I'm saying? The Spirit teaches you all things and you don't need no man to teach you or whatever, right? You're enlightened. But anyways, these two words are just titles, epithets. Okay, so I don't want nobody to get thrown off when they see the word Buddha and be like, oh, I don't want to hear no more. Okay, he talking about Buddha. No, it's not what you need to be focusing on. Okay. Again, it says, and then a mighty master came, a Buddha of enlightenment, who turned away from what? Wealth and all the honors of the world. Now, why would a devil or a demon turn away from all the wealth and the honors of the world? Huh? Anyway, and found the silence in the quiet groves and caves, and he was blessed. He preached a gospel of the higher life and taught man how to honor man. He had no doctrine of the gods to teach. And I feel like that's so key right there, right? Because look what it says right after. He just knew man. And what did he do? And so his creed was justice, love, and righteousness. He didn't go around teaching everybody about, you need to worship this God or that God, none of that. He only knew man and spoke from experience, right? Creed, justice, his creed was justice, love, and righteousness. I quote for you a few of many of the helpful words which Buddha spoke. Hate is a cruel word. If men hate you, regard it not. And you can turn the hate of men to love and mercy and goodwill. And mercy is as large as all the heavens. Now, when I read that, what comes to mind is Proverbs. Let me go to it real quick. Proverbs chapter 16, verse 7. And it says, when a man's ways please the Most High, he makes even his enemies be at peace with him. Okay, I give you a perfect example. Look at all these YNs out here. They live by the gun, they dying by the gun, right? They got a lot, they creating a lot of enemies. But, and I know it's different, it's going to be different for everybody. I know what I'm about to say. But let's take one of them YNs and the Most High just, you know, boom, just light some in him. And now he wants to change his life around, right? He wants to change his life around. He's starting to work on himself. He's starting to, you know, work through his trauma. You know, he's starting to like see humanity in everybody else. He's starting to love others as he loved himself. He started doing for others, like feeding the poor and whoever he come across, you know, just being a light to him. By him going down that road, in turn, most likely what will happen is that his enemies, who were once his enemies, won't be his enemies no more. Remember, when they, you know, that whole saying is you are what you attract, or you attract what you are, right? You reap what you sow, what you put out there, that's what you get back. So 9 times out of 10, if he changes life, right, and he start walking righteously, then he's going to start to his react. That's what his reality is going to become. He's not going to have those issues no more. They're not going to be chasing after him because he's not in that world anymore. He's not, you know what I'm saying? He's not in that. His enemies will be at peace with him. But I will say this. We live in a time where these YNs, even if you make peace with them, they got the whole mindset of like, it ain't no peace. Somebody got to get got. You know what I'm saying? Somebody got to get hit or whatever. That's their whole mindset. So I would say whoever that YN is, who's, you know, trying to change their life around, I would suggest they probably move out the state. Just move away. You know what I'm saying? Get away from it. You know. But anyway, let's keep going. Where am I? I said, if a man hates you, regard it not. And you can turn the hate of a man to love and mercy and goodwill. And mercy is as large as all the heavens. And there is good enough for all. With good, destroy the bad. With generous deeds or works, make avarice a shame. With truth, make straight the crooked lines that error draws. For error is but truth distorted, gone astray. Right? And again, that's the polarity, right? Truth and error. It's all the same thing. It's just that error is on the opposite pole. Truth is on the other end of the spectrum, right? But it's from the same source. Now, check this out, verse 8. And pain will follow him who speaks or acts with evil thoughts. Facts. As does the foot of him who draws the cart. Check this out. This is the part that I got highlighted. Verses 9 and 10. He is a greater man who conquers self than he who kills 1,000 men in war. He is the noble man who is himself what he believes what other men should be. That's powerful. He is a greater man who conquers self. This is why I tell y'all all the time, right? Yes, we know that there are wars going on outside of us, battles going on outside of us. But none of that has anything on the wars and battles that's taking place within you. You dig what I'm saying? which is why I tell y'all to focus on you. So when I say focus on self, this is what I'm talking about. You facing yourself, you sitting with yourself, you going toe to toe with yourself. It's you. It ain't nobody else. It's you. Greater is the man who can conquer self than he who kills 1,000 men in war. Return to him who does you wrong your purest love, and he will cease from doing wrong. Just like I said, Proverbs 16, right? For love will purify the heart or mind of him who is beloved as truly as it purifies the heart of him who loves. Right? So that's what I wanted to get out of chapter 11. Conquering self. Now, let's go to chapter 12, the very next one, and let's read verses 14 through 20. Now, in this one, it says Salam's lessons, prayer. Elihu's concluding lessons sums up the 3 years course of study. Now, it's funny too, because when years ago when I was reading this book, I kept asking the question, who is Elihu? Who is Elihu? Right? And in this book, it actually goes not too deep, but it does reference or mentions the Essenes or the Ebionites. You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of the leaders, I wouldn't say leaders, I would just say teachers within the Essene community, that's who's writing, that's whose words we're reading right now. See, we haven't even got into Yasha's words yet. You know what I'm saying? We're reading Elihu's words, which was one who taught Yasha, one of the ones who taught Yasha within the Essene community, right? Because again, people, we all know that in the Bible that there are 18 years missing, 12 to 18 years missing. I probably got that number mixed up, but of Yasha's life, it's missing. Nobody know where he was, what he was doing, you know what I'm saying? But he was being taught, he was being like prepared, right? He had to go through different initiations and everything like that, right? Before he started his actual ministry. But see, you get that information when you go into these other books. And again, I know a lot of people say, oh, I don't know if we could take any of that for fact or whatever. Listen, you don't even know what you reading is actual like fact, because we know who put that together. You know what I'm saying? Who compiled those books together, who put books in and left books out. You know what I'm saying? So we can't just be so, oh, I don't know. We just have to keep an open mind. And I'm not saying that, like I told y'all before, when I read these books, I'm not, pushing or promoting like, oh, this is all, this is the truth. You need to read this, you need to take this and accept this, da-da-da. I ain't coming like that. I'm a student. And I'm looking at y'all as students too. I'm thinking of y'all as students too. You have to form your own understanding like around these things. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, because we don't truly know, I mean, we just going off what's out there, what's what we have access to, in the physical realm. Now, again, there is a thing such as Akashic records, you know what I'm saying? Like I say, our DNA, everything, like it's all within us. The answers, all that is within us, right? It's just that we have to put in that work. You feel what I'm saying? In order for us to access or unlock memories and things of that nature, right? We have to do that spiritual work. But we're so bombarded with life. We're so bombarded with, the stresses of life, work, bills, so on and so forth, that we can't even focus on cultivating, the spirit. Like you know what I'm saying? So this is why I got to give the Most High all praises for put me in this position where I'm not even working right now, right? I don't plan on going back to work. If I have to, I will, but right now I'm not. And while I'm not working, I'm utilizing my time to tap in, zone in, and like just really, you know what I'm saying, connect. That's what I've been doing. Aside from, you know, homesteading, you know, gardening and all that type of stuff. I'm actually building a chicken coop right now for the chicken that I'm getting and everything like that. So, and the music too. Anyways, I ain't mean to go off, but yeah. So we in chapter 12, and we gonna start at let's see. Okay, so I be having certain verses that I want to do, because in chapter 12, I want to start at verse 14, but I'm just looking at this all this is good, because check this. Now, when the morning sun arose, the masters and the pupils all were in the sacred grove. Salome was the first to speak. She said, oh, this was a female. Behold the sun. It manifests the power of the Most High, who speaks to us through sun and moon and stars, through mountain, hill, and valley, through flower and plant and tree. God sings for us through bird and harpsichord and human voice. He speaks to us through wind and rain and thunder roll. It's funny because it's thundering right now. And I just heard it speaking to me. It said, why should we not bow down and worship at his feet? God speaks to hearts apart, and hearts apart must speak to him. And this is prayer. It is not prayer to shout at God, to stand or sit or kneel and tell him all about the sins of men. It is not prayer to tell the Holy One how great he is, how good he is, how strong and how compassionate. He said, not a woman teacher. Man, women are the best teachers. I don't care what nobody say. God is not man to be bought up by praise of man. Prayer is the ardent wish that every way of life be light, that every act be crowned with good, that every living thing be prospered by our ministry. A noble deed, a helpful word is prayer, a fervent and effectual prayer. The fount of prayer is in the heart or the mind, by thought, not words. And see, I ain't gonna lie, because after reading this years ago, I caught a lot of flack, right? Because I started to adopt this, right? Whenever I pray, I stopped praying out loud, right? Just saying the same old prayers and stuff over and over. But I started to speak with my soul, right? And I got into like this whole rhythm of just doing that, right? It just felt better. It was just, felt like I connected more, right? Whenever I spoke with my soul, and it was just silence. Like, but that's just me though. That's just me. Some people prefer to pray out loud. They feel like that does something for them or whatever, but hey, to each his own. Anyways, it says, by thought, not words, the heart is carried up to the Most High where it is blessed. Then let us pray. They prayed, but not a word was said. But in that holy silence, every heart was blessed. And then Elihu spoke. I love when Elihu starts speaking. It says, he said to Mary and Elizabeth, because remember, they're cousins, Mary and Elizabeth, right? Yasha and John, they're cousins. And they were all within the Essene community. Nazarenes, Ebionites, whatever you want to refer to them as. Yeah, our words are said. You need not tarry longer here. The call has come. The way is clear. You may return unto your native land. A mighty work is given you to do. You shall direct the minds that will direct the world. Okay? Your sons are set apart to lead men up to righteous thoughts and words and deeds, to make men know the sinfulness of sin, to lead them from the adoration of the lower self and all illusion things. And all elusive things, right? And make them conscious of the self that lives with Christ in the Most High. Why would a devil or a demon want women to teach their children that? I mean, like, make it make sense. Why would a devil want? I mean, shouldn't it be the contrary? Shouldn't the devil be teaching and promoting and you know, putting forth, hey, teach your children to be against Christ in the Most High, to be not conscious, right? To be unconscious of the self, to love the world in all the illusions of the world, all the to be caught up in the materialistic stuff. Isn't that what the devil wants? Because we know what comes with that, the desires of the lower self, the flesh, the impulses, so on and so forth. So again, as I'm reading this, I want you all, right? You can think whatever you want to think, but I'm just saying, I'm trying to see where's the evil in what I'm bringing forth. Because what I'm bringing forth, I can see this being life changing. And notice how Elihu is talking to the women. He's telling the women what they should be at home teaching their children. It's the woman's job to teach the children, right? To prepare them for all of that. Why? Because they are the greatest teachers. Now, when a child gets to a certain age, I feel like that's what a man come in at and start teaching the child, you know, everything about survival and things of that nature, right? But as far as like being in tuned, you know, intuitive, all of that, everything that the woman is powerful in, she has to instill that into the child, right? It's that masculine, that feminine, you know what I'm saying? And just boom, y'all coming together as one. And this is what the devils of the world, these Satans of the world, do not want. This is why they want you to send your children to school, to get indoctrinated. You understand what I'm saying? To be taught lies and stuff. Anyway, was that all? No. Okay, it says verse 17. In preparation for their work, your sons must walk in many thorny paths, right? It's gonna be hard for them. It's gonna be hard, but it's your job to prepare them, right? Fierce trials and temptations, they will meet. They will meet like other men. Their loads will not be light, and they will be weary, be faint. Right? Check this. And they will know the pains of hunger and of thirst, and without cause they will be mocked, imprisoned, scourged. Now I know all about a woman's love for her babies. I know. But this is just what it is, man. You have to prepare them for that, because you have to understand, as a man, especially a melanated brother, going out into this world, we already know what's up against us. You know what I'm saying? We public enemy number one. Think about, I just want y'all to think about this. Think about the Black Panther Party, right? When that was going on. You know, that brother was in that, I think when he passed away, or when he was murdered, he was only what, 20 something? Young brother. But you could tell he was raised to be the leader that he was. You can tell. You understand what I'm saying? And it ain't just him. It's so many different examples out there. As a woman, as a mother, you got to know that it's war. All right? You're raising your child to be a warrior, to go against the evils of this world. And in doing so, you know it's going to be hard. You know it's going to be tough. And you just got to prepare yourself as a woman to you know, I mean, it's unfortunate, you know what I'm saying? But you just never know what's going to come with it. But we saw throughout history what happens, what tends to happen, right? To all those that get raised up. And it's so crazy because it be our own people turning against us, right? Allowing the infiltration into our groups and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It be our own people that they get bought out, right? They get threatened and, you know, they want to give you up and stuff like that. So it's just crazy, man. It's crazy. So check this though. Where was I at? Oh, well, that's it. That's it. Let's go to chapter 15. Let's go to chapter 15. This is one of my favorite chapters in this book. Now we get into John. Okay. So you had Elihu, who's a teacher. Then you have Matheno, who's a teacher. All Essenes, right? Chapter 15, we're going to start at verse 12. So it says, death and burial of Elizabeth, Matheno's lessons, the ministry of death, the mission of John, institution of the rite of baptism. Matheno takes John to Egypt and places him in the temple of at Saqqara, where he remains 18 years. Okay. Yeah, Atara, I'm just saying that you're right. You're right. If he went through it, right? I mean, just think about it. He healed the sick. He cured people of different, you know what I'm saying, ailments and everything. Expressed love to those who everybody gave up on. He sat with the sinners. He sat with all the people. You know what I'm saying? And look, if you go back in time, if you really look at the history behind like Essenes, the Ebionites, or the therapeutic people, you know what I'm saying? Whatever, they went by many different things, but if you look at it, they still wanted to kill him. They still wanted to kill him. And anybody who patterned their lives after his, you feel me, and did what he did. You notice anytime it comes to, you know, the people who the Most High put that spirit on to, you know, or gave the talents to go out and heal, they a threat. Because we live in a matrix where they don't want you to be healed. They want you to be sick because there's profit in that. You dig what I'm saying? They don't want you to be conscious and self-aware. There's profit in that. There's control in that. So when you start coming and you start freeing people, elevating people, you become a threat. And that's just it all ties back to the good fighting against the evil. You know what I'm saying? The good forces against the bad forces. That's just what it is. So what we in chapter 15? All right, let's look at this. I want to read the whole thing, but again, you can read it on your own time. So chapter 15, verse 12. So look at this. Okay. Okay. So I want to read the whole thing, man. So verse 8 says, a crisis in your life has come, and you must have a clear conception of the work that you are called to do. And it's so crazy because, like, if I stop right there, just think about Yasha being led up of the spirit, right? And being tempted of Satan. And according to my understanding and my research, right, my perspective, he wasn't talking to like face to face with something outside of himself. He was battling with his own thoughts. Yeah. So remember, I said, when you're left alone, you're at a crisis, right? You're going through a crisis in your life, and and this also relates to Jacob in wrestling with the angel, or his mind, the man, his mind, right? His lower thoughts. A crisis has come. A crisis in your life has come, and you must have a clear conception of the work that you are called to do. In order for you to have that clear conception, you got to do what? You got to fight. You got to overcome, right? All those lower thoughts, those tempting thoughts, trying to divert you from the work that you were called to do. But once you get all them negative thoughts out the way, you can see clearly, right? The sages of the ages call you harbinger. The prophets look to you and say, he is Elijah, come again. Your mission here is that of harbinger, for you will go before the Messiah's face to pave his way and make the people ready to receive their king. This readiness is purity of heart. None but the pure in heart can recognize the king. To teach men to be pure in heart, you must yourself be pure in heart and word and deed, right? To teach men to be pure in heart, you must yourself be pure in heart. That's what's wrong with a lot of people in the world today. Christians, Hebrew Israelites, Muslims, so on and so forth. They want to teach men to be pure and to be right and all this and that, but they're not even right in heart, in word, and in deed. I'm not speaking about everybody. I'm just saying the majority. The majority. Verse 13 says, in infancy, the vow for you was made, and you became a Nazarite. The razor shall not touch your face nor head, and you shall taste not wine nor fiery drinks. Men need a pattern for their lives. They love to follow, not to lead. The man who stands upon the corners of the paths and points the way, but does not go, is just a what? A pointer. And a block of wood can do the same thing. The teacher treads the way. On every span of ground, he leaves his footprints clearly cut out or clearly cut, which all can see and be assured that he, their master or teacher, went that way. Men comprehend the inner life by what they see and do. They come to the Most High through ceremonies and forms. And so, when you would make men know that sins are washed away by purity in life, a rite symbolic may be introduced, right? In water, wash the bodies of the people who would turn away from sin and strive for purity in life. This rite of cleansing is a preparation rite, and they who thus are cleansed comprise the church of purity. And you shall say, you men of Israel, here, reform and wash, become the sons of purity, and you shall be forgiven. This rite of cleansing and this church are but what? Symbolic symbols of the cleansing of the soul by purity in life and the kingdom of the soul, which does not come from outward show, but is the church within. I feel like hopefully that didn't go over your heads, because that's deep. So when I say baptism, listen, it's cool. Go and get baptized, right? But that's a symbolic rite of what you must do on the inside of yourself, cleansing the soul by water, which is something that represents truth. Water represents truth. So when you wash your soul with truth, your spirit with truth, you're baptized internally. You understand what I'm saying? And then also too, when you look at it on the elements, right? You got earth, water, air, fire, so on and so forth. Well, earth, right? You go up into water. And then from water, you go up into air. Come out of the water into air. Bro, I'm not saying that you shouldn't get baptized. Go ahead and do that. But I've seen many people who've gotten baptized, including myself, from keeping in the band, who have gotten baptized, and for a time, you know, did the right thing, but then always fell back into sin, or fell back into, you know what I'm saying, doing what I was doing before I got baptized. And that's how it is with a lot of people, because that's not true baptism. You got to purify the soul. You got to go within and do the work. You can't just sprinkle some water on you and then be, oh, I'm good, I'm clean. Nah. It's just, that's a symbolic ritual of what you must do within yourself. Hold up. Hold on real quick. This right symbol. Give me 1 second. 1 second. I'm thinking my in-law just pulled up. They need some help with some real quick. I don't mean to keep y'all waiting. But yeah, y'all just ponder on that for a little bit. I'm gonna come back. Give me 5 minutes. All right. Hey, somebody comment something. Let me know if y'all still with me. It's storming outside, so I don't know if the internet is working or if it's acting up or whatever. Okay. I apologize. I had to go help them real quick. Where was I at with it? Okay. Okay, so check this out. Let's pick up who we left. Okay. So it says, verse 22, this rite of cleansing and this church are but symbolic of the cleansing of the soul by purity and life and the kingdom of the soul, which does not come from outward show, but is the church within. Now, you may never point the way and tell the multitudes to do what you have never done, but you must go before and show the way. And see, this is why I pride myself on being an example through all facets of life, like in every aspect of my life, right? I'm conscious and very intentional of what I put out.
Excuse me, Thomas.
No, you good.
Okay.
But that's why you yourself have to do the work. You have to, be an example. You can't go out teaching people to do things and you haven't done it yourself. That's just like when I put it like this. When I first woke up, right? When I first woke up, I was on Facebook, you know what I'm saying? I was dressing up, I was doing all that, telling people to not do this, to do that. But at the same time, I was still fornicating and, just doing all that behind closed doors. And before somebody else could, expose me or, call me out on it, I had to look within myself and, just take accountability. And like, no, you know what? This is not right. I shouldn't be on here telling them not to do this or do that when behind closed doors, that's what I'm doing. You know, it don't work like that. But that's what a lot of people are doing. So you have to put in that work on yourself. You have to change your ways. You have to walk upright. You know what I'm saying? You have to not only read these things, but you have to apply these things, live these things, experience these things, become these things. And then that's when you go out and you do the work. You start your ministry. Right? So verse what was that? Never multitudes to do what you have never done. Okay, verse 24. You are to teach that men must wash. So you must lead the way. Your body must be washed. Symbolic of the cleansing of the soul. Hold on 1 second. Let me skip down. Verse 27. So Matheno taught the harbinger, and he explained to him the inner meaning of the cleansing rite and how to wash himself and how to wash the multitude. Skip down to verse 30. For many years, Matheno was a master in this temple of the brotherhood. And when he told about the life of John and of his mission to the sons of men, the Hierophant with joy received the harbinger, and he was called the brother Nazarite. For 18 years, John lived and wrought within these temple gates. And here he conquered self. He became a mastermind and learned the duties of the harbinger, right? So it's telling you what John was doing in his younger years, right? Before he started his ministry, these are the things that he was taught. So he spent years and years and years mastering his self, you know what I'm saying? And understanding what his purpose was and things of that nature. And this is what we all got to do at some point in our life. That's why I say, we live in a time where they got us so caught up with work. They got us so caught up with bills and all these different things. But if you truly want to walk in your purpose, live in your purpose, you're going to have to make a decision, right? You're going to have to make a decision. And that's just like myself. I can only speak from experience and what I got going on. I'm a truck driver. There's a lot of money in truck driving, right? But at some point in my life, I had to sit back and ask that question. Am I going to choose money, being over the road, away from my family, away from the homestead, right? Away from, and am I going to sacrifice myself, my body, my time, my energy, making these corporations richer and richer and richer while I'm just making this chump change, right? Or am I going to put all my faith in the Most High and do what I was called to do? And lean on the talents he gave me, right? Not only the talent, but just depend on him 100%. And that's just where I'm at right now. I made the decision to get off the road because I'm seeing that like I have so much time now to focus and connect with the Most High. You know what I'm saying? My worship, my prayer, my meditation, everything is elevated when I'm not working. You know, but just imagine, see if you look at my body of work and everything that I've done over the years, I was able to balance it out a little bit Because even with me working, I was working on presentations. I was working on, building my house on the land. I was, developing, I was doing all these things. I was wearing myself out trying to do everything, which I'm cool with that. Like, I don't have a problem with it. But I got to the point where I'm just like, you know what? I done put in all the work. I done built my house. I'm situated. You know what I'm saying? Let me take a break from all that and really focus on my purpose. Be it music, presentations, me helping people, you know what I'm saying, assisting people in whatever way. And that's what I did. So I'm taking the time to master self and everything, you know what I'm saying? So I can be the best that I can be, and I can operate at the highest potential. I'm only 35, right? It ain't no time on these things. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, we all know that there's 12 to 18 years missing from Yasha's life. And I know that in that time he was being taught, he was mastering, he was going through things, overcoming things, all that, to prepare him for his ministry. So let's go to chapter 17. Let's go to 17. Okay, so now we're getting into Yasha's storyline. So it says, Yasha talks with the rabbi of the synagogue of Nazareth. He criticizes the narrowness of Jewish thought. Okay, verses 3 through 7. Atari, you said these teachings are so dope. The way they transform my thinking, true wisdom for sure. Yeah, mine too. We would never taught to look at it this way. I guarantee you, if we were taught to look at it this way, we would see way more results in lives being transformed and stuff like that. Gives people a greater understanding of how this stuff works and stuff, what to truly focus on instead of looking at things carnally, So chapter what is 15 or 17, 3 through 7 and 8 through 12. Hold on, let me see. It says, and Jesus said, I do not see a greatest of the 10 commandments. I see a golden cord that runs through all the 10 commandments, that binds them fast and make them one. This cord is love, and it belongs to every word of all the 10 commandments. If one is full of love, he can do nothing else than worship the Most High. For the Most High is love, and we know that according to 1 John. It says, if one is full of love, he cannot kill, he cannot falsely testify, he cannot covet, can do naught but honor the Most High and man. If one is full of love, he does not need commands of any kind. Again, if you heard my music, this is one of the things, I think on Journey 4, one of the interludes, right, in between the songs, I quoted this. Now verse 8 through 12. Check this out. It says, and Rabbi Bereshia said, your words are seasoned with salt of wisdom that is from above. Who is the teacher who has opened up this truth to you? And Yasha said, I do not know that any teacher opened up this truth for me. It seems to me that truth was never shut, that it was always opened up. For truth is one, and it is everywhere. And if we open up the windows of our minds, the truth will enter in and make herself at home. And again, remember I told y'all, whenever they refer to the truth as a her or a he, they're personifying it, which ain't nothing wrong with that. But anyways, it says, will enter in and make herself at home. For truth can find her way through any crevice, any window, any open door. The rabbi said, what hand is strong enough to open up the windows and the doors of mind so truth can enter in? And Yasha said, it seems to me that love, the golden cord that binds the Ten Commandments the Ten Commandments in one, is strong enough to open any human door so that the truth can enter in and cause the heart to understand. Okay. So when you live in the commandments, I ain't talking just following the commandments. I'm talking about you living them. It all, listen, love, genuine, unconditional love. When you operating in that, you don't need no commandments. The commandments are just there to remind you, to remind the one who, you know what I'm saying, who's not operating in that frequency. Hopefully when you read them, right, it'll spark something in you. You start seeing, like, once you start, because that's what I'm saying, you read it, you start applying it, you know, try it out, experience it, see what following the commandments do for you. You're not going to steal from your brother. We've seen what happens or what comes from that when you steal from somebody. We've seen it from the lowest to the highest. You understand? Leading ultimately to the person getting killed. Right? But we've seen people steal from other people, and you know, we saw what the result was, and the person, you know, they repented, they, you know, changed and all that, right? And they stopped doing it. And there was peace after that. But as long as you're in that, you know what I'm saying, you stealing from people and stuff like that, there's a lot that come with that. So again, love, man. If you love your brother or your sister, you won't steal from them. You love your brother and sister, you ain't go covet. You ain't finna do nothing wrong. You're not finna do nothing against them because you truly love them. Now, we're going to jump all the way to chapter 23. Mm, 23. Now, everything we are about to go into now, these are all Yasha's words, okay? It says, Yasha and Lamas among the Sudras and whatever this is, Visas, whatever, and Banaras, Yasha becomes a pupil of Udraka, the lessons of Udraka. Now, so we're going to read verses 5 through 21. I'm going to just fly through it. He said, the laws of nature are the laws of health, and he who lives according to these laws is never sick. Transgression of these laws is sin, and he who sins is sick, right? He who obeys the laws maintains an equilibrium, a word that just means balance, or coherence in all his parts, and thus ensures true harmony. And harmony is health, while discord is disease. That which produces harmony in all the parts of man is medicine, ensuring health. The body is a harpsichord, and when its strings are too relaxed or are too tense, the instrument is out of tune. The man is sick. Hold on one second, because I got a precept. What chapter this is? 23. Hold on one second. I got a precept to this. Okay. I got a precept to that. So Sirach, Like I say, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. I can show you real quick. Hold on. Let me show you real quick. Hold on. Let me get it. Atara, if you're still on here, you could probably post it in the chat. I mean, if you feel like you don't have to do it, but like I can get a scripture and you can pull it up. But the precept I got is Sirach chapter or Ecclesiasticus. The scripture, like I'm saying, like I'm reading out of the Aquarian Gospel, but I'm saying like whenever I have a precept, you can probably post it if you can. So Ecclesiasticus chapter 30, verses 15 and 16. And look what it say. Health. The topic is health. And we're talking about health and the laws of nature inside of the Aquarian Gospel. You see? So Ecclesiasticus chapter or Sirach chapter 30, verse 15 to 16 says, better is the poor being sound and strong of constitution than a rich man that is afflicted in his body. Health and good estate of the body are above all gold, and a strong body above infinite wealth. There is no riches above a sound body, and no joy above the joy of the heart. Right? So getting back to this Aquarian Gospel, verse 10. Now, everything in nature has been made to meet the wants of man. So everything is found in medical arcanes. It says, and when the harpsichord of man is out of tune, the vast expanse of nature may be searched for remedy. There is a cure for every ailment of the flesh. Of course, the will of man is remedy supreme. By the vigorous exercise of will, man way. That ain't reading right. Hold on. Okay, let's just do it like this. It says, and by the vigorous exercise of will, man will make tense a cord that is relaxed, or may relax one that is too tense, and thus may heal himself. When man has reached a place where his faith, or I'm reading this all crazy. When man has reached a place where he has faith in the Most High, in nature, and himself, he knows the word of power. His word is balm for every wound, is cure for all the ills of life. The healer is the man who can inspire faith. The tongue may speak to human ears, but souls are reached by souls that speak to souls. 21. He is the forceful man whose soul is large and who can enter into souls, inspiring hope in those who have no hope and faith in those who have no faith in the Most High and in nature, nor in man. There is no universal balm for those who tread the common walks of life. Check this out. 1,000 things produce inharmony and make men sick. 1,000 things may tune the harpsichord or the body and make men well. That which is medicine for one is poison for another one. So one is healed by what would kill another one. An herb may heal the one, a drink of water may restore another one. A mountain breeze may bring to life one seeming past all help. A coal of fire or pit of earth may cure another one, and one may wash in certain streams or pools and be made whole. The virtue from the hand or breath may heal 1,000 more, but love is what? Love is queen. Salt, reinforced by love, is the Most High's great sovereign balm. But many of the broken chords in life and discords that so vex the soul are caused by what? Evil spirits of the air that men see not, that lead men on through ignorance to break the laws of nature and of the Most High. These powers act like demons, and they speak. They rend the man. They drive him to despair. But he who is a healer, true, is master of the soul and can, by force of will, control these evil ones. Some spirits of the air are master spirits and are strong, too strong for human power alone. But man has helpers in the higher realms that may be importuned, and they will help to drive the demons out. Of what this great physician said, this is the sum. And Yasha bowed his head in recognition of the wisdom of this master soul and went his way. That's crazy, because this not even Yasha's words. That was Yasha, somebody teaching Yasha that. Again, these are the earlier chapters in this book, though. Yeah. I'm tripping. Because I said these are Yasha's words that we get into. But actually, just like with what's his name? John, right? There's chapters in this book where, John was being taught. And there's chapters in this book of Yasha being taught. So this was somebody teaching Yasha about the laws of nature and understanding how everything works. Like, and it's so profound, man. It's so crazy. Like I say, when I read this, the first time I read it, it just made me realize that, okay, like it said, what may help one person may kill another person. So by reading that, I'm like, okay, I can't just say that, it's a one size fits all type of thing. Like, just, oh, hey, everybody take this herb or whatever. And this is just gonna, it's gonna heal everybody. That's not the case. That's not the case, because that same herb that you're recommending, right, could kill somebody else. It can hurt or harm somebody else. So as a holistic healer or whatever, you have to work with the individual one-on-one, right? You have to get to the root cause of what that person is dealing with. And it's a case-by-case type thing. You understand what I'm saying? So you look at what that person is dealing with, and then that's when you go into, okay, you're going to need this, you're going to need that. Whereas this person, you look at what they got going on, you get to the root of it, you're like, oh, you needed some fresh air. I'm just using that as an example. You know what I'm saying? Because their situation is not so dire. Like, and see, that's, listen, bro, that's what I'm saying. This book, imagine if everything I just read in this chapter was in the Bible. And notice this, how it says that when man has reached the place where he has faith in the Most High, in nature, and himself, I feel like that's so important. That's so important. Because you will have some people that say, oh, when y'all read them other books, it's taking your faith, it's taking your focus off the Most High. It's pulling you away from them. How? What have I read so far in this record that's leading the person away from the Most High? It seems to me everything that I read so far, is leading the person to the Most High. It's not telling you to only put your faith in nature. It's not telling you to only put your faith in yourself. No, it's telling you to put faith in the Most High, right? And in nature, because the Most High is in nature and yourself. Why? Because the Most High is in you as well. The Most High is in all things. That's why I feel like a lot of us are so jacked up and disconnected right now. We're disconnected from ourselves, right? Divided against ourselves. A house divided against itself shall not stand. And a lot of people, the majority of people in this world are divided against themselves, their own bodies, let alone nature. Not connected with nature, not connected with the Most High. They're connected through, their lips, their words, but when it comes to demonstrating and their actions, no. We jacked up. We got a lot of work to do. But see, that's why I like this book, man, because again, on my own journey, this book has helped me see things that I couldn't see before. You understand what I'm saying? I'm a researcher. I'm a reader. Like, if I recommend anything to you, if I open my mouth up about anything, you better know, is it what somebody research? You know what I'm saying? Experience, all that. Not just finna blow hot air and just, lead nobody astray or anything like that. Like, very intentional. I know what I'm doing. I'm not crazy. Now check this out. That was chapter 23. Okay, here's another good one. Let's go to chapter 26. Say the whole book good, man. I ain't even get to all the stuff because I got so much stuff highlighted, but I'm just giving y'all a few things. And to encourage y'all to read the book. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing wrong with reading books. You got people saying, don't stay away from this book. Them people right there, y'all need to question. So chapter 26, and this is Yasha et Katak. Yasha reveals to the people the emptiness of Brahmic rites and how to see the Most High and man, teaches them the divine law of sacrifice. This is a really, really good chapter. We're going to start at verse matter of fact, I'm finna read the whole thing. Not the whole thing, but a lot of it, so you can get the context. In all the cities of Orissa, Yasha taught. At Katak, by the riverside, he taught, and thousands of the people followed him. One day, a car of Jagannath was hauled along by scores of frenzied men, and Yasha said, behold, a form without a spirit passes by, a body with no soul, a temple with no altar fires. This car is of Krishna and is an empty thing, for Krishna is not there. This car is but an idol of a people drunk on wine of carnal things. The Most High lives not in the noise of tongues. There is no way to him from any idol shrine, right? The Most High's meeting place with man is in his heart or mind. And in a small, still voice, he speaks. And he who hears is still, right? And that ties into meditation. Be still and know that I am the Most High. And all the people said, teach us to know the Holy One who speaks within the heart, the Most High or power of the still small voice. And Yasha said, the holy breath cannot be seen with mortal eyes, nor can men see the spirits of the holy. But in their image, man was made. And he who looks into the face of man looks at the image of the Most High who speaks within. And when man honors, and when man honors man, he honors the Most High. And what I'm tripping, man. And what man does for man, he does for the Most High. Okay. And you must bear in mind that when man harms in thought or word or deed another man, he does a wrong to the Most High. If you would serve the Most High who speaks within the heart, just serve your near of kin and those that are no kin, the stranger at your gates, the foe who seeks to do you harm. Assist the poor and help the weak. Do harm to none and covet not what is not yours. I ain't gonna lie, the only thing out of what was said that I have a hard time doing even to this day is where it says the foe who seeks to do you harm. Now, granted, I never do harm to anybody. Like, that's not my intentions. I don't want to hurt nobody or anything like that, right? But we already know who wants to seek, who seeks to do us harm. And that's a tough one right there. Why? That's another level of love. Because we tried that and it don't seem to be working, out that well. But anyway, that's a whole nother topic. But everything else though, yeah. Assist the poor, help the weak, do harm to none, and covet not what is not yours. Then with your tongue, the Holy One will speak, and he will smile behind your tears, will light your countenance with joy, and fill your hearts with peace. And then the people asked, to whom shall we bring gifts? Where shall we offer sacrifice? And Yasha said, Our Father God, ask not for needless waste of plant, of grain, of dove, of lamb. That which thou burn on any shrine, you throw away. No blessings can attend the one who takes the food from hungry mouths to be destroyed by fire. When you would offer sacrifice unto your God, just take your gift of grain. I'm sorry. When you would offer sacrifice unto our God, just take your gift of grain or meat or food and lay it upon the table of the poor. From it, an incense will arise to heaven, which will return to you with blessings. See, again, everything we reading, how is this going against the Most High? Like, somebody please tell me. Please tell me. It's mainly the people that don't read, who have never read the book, who say these things, who make these comments, which is why every time I do presentations or every time, I'm lining things up, I bring these things out and I'm like, where? Oh, show me. What's being said that's evil, that's demonic, that's being led by Satan. I'm gonna keep saying that. And yeah, you're right. You said the Most High doesn't have a small, still voice. That's your consciousness. Yeah, ultimately, that's what it is. Yeah. But in records, they gonna say small, still voice, because it ain't just this record. It's in a few records where I read them refer to that, that conscious, that voice as the small, still voice or whatever. But nah, he said, don't waste your time bringing food and animals and all this and that. You know what I'm saying? Throw all that stuff away. Or that which you burn, throw it away. No blessings can attend the one who takes the food from hungry mouths. You would rather take some food and offer it up to a dang on idol than to feed somebody out in the streets. Not even knowing that you helping the homeless, assisting the homeless, feeding the homeless is you sacrificing to the Most High in love by serving man. See, we don't look at it like that though, man. That's like we don't. That's why I say, just imagine if these words and the way that they're written was in the scriptures. Like, we'll have a completely like different look on things, outlook on things, and it would make so much sense. It would make so much more sense. All the fighting and arguing that we do, and you know what I'm saying, the confusion. Like, come on. Look at what it say here. Tear down your idols. Why would a devil or a demon want you to tear down your idols? Like, that's what they promote, right? They can hear you not. Turn all your sacrificial altars into fuel for the flames. Do what? Make human hearts your altars and burn your sacrifices with the fire of love. And all the people were entranced and would have worshiped Jesus as a God. But Pete gang. But Yasha said, I am your brother, man. I am your brother. Just come to show the way to the Most High. That's all. That's all. You shall not worship man. Praise the Most High, the Holy One. And I catch so much flack for this. Because this is what I promote, bro. Like, listen, I ain't know that mainstream religion. I know that, you know, they have turned Yasha into a god. I know there's a lot of people within the Hebrew Israelite community. I mean, all these different faiths, right? Under the umbrella of Christianity, who take him to be a god and they worship him as a god or whatever. But me personally, right, through all my research, me speaking to the Most High and everything, Yasha never intended on people worshiping him or taking him as a god. It's not what he came for. That's not what, he didn't even teach that. He was trying to get you, right, to focus on the Father. He was the broski. You know what I'm saying? He was the broski. He was a master teacher. But he was a messenger, but we've taken the messenger and made him to be a god. It ain't just with Yasha. I mean, if you look in different cultures, right? Different cultures, they did the same thing. They took the messengers, right, who brought forth the message of love and peace and everything like that, and they took them to be gods. Like, they disregarded the message. And that's like I said before, it's with the whole cult type of mindset, right? How you have a leader or a teacher who the Most High is speaking through, using, right? Utilizing to spread wisdom, knowledge, so on and so forth. But then once the wisdom and the knowledge and the information moves to the back and the person becomes the center of attention, becomes the focal point, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's focusing on the person now. That's when it becomes a cult. And it's no longer about the Most High. It's no longer about the wisdom. It's no longer about the knowledge, right? People are only there for that person. And anything that person says or, you know, put out there, it's like the people, man, you see it. You see it. You see it. You see it. So that's why I say I love this book, because yeah, it's just, I'm your brother, man. Just to come, I came to show you the way to the Most High. So in the scripture where it said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man can see the Father but through me, or get to the Father but through me. That wasn't, see, a lot of people take that and feel like, oh, that's him saying we must worship him. That's him saying that we must, you know what I'm saying? That's him saying, follow the example. Believe in the word. Believe in what I did. Because what I did was an example of what you must do in order to get to the Father and become one with the Father. I'm the example. I gave you the blueprint. Try it and see where it gets you. But see, we look at things because I'm telling you, we've been conditioned, we've been programmed to see it in another way, but it's all good. Now, here's a controversial one, right? This is one that I know a lot of people may have a problem with in this record, but I'm bring it out anyways. So in chapter 28, it says Yasha speaks on the unity of the Most High and the brotherhood of life. Criticizes priesthood, becomes the guest of a farmer. Chapter 28. So we'll start at verse 11. Matter of fact, I keep saying I want to start at the ones I highlighted, but the whole chapter good, because it's a lesson in this. Benars is the sacred city of the Brahms, and in Benars, Yasha taught. Yudraka was his host. Yudraka made a feast in honor of his guests, and many high-born Hindu priests and scribes were there. And Yasha said to them, with much delight, I speak to you concerning life, the brotherhood of life. The universal power or God is one, yet he is more than one. All things are the Most High. All things are one. By the sweet breaths of the Most High, all life is bound in one. So if you touch a fiber of a living thing, you can send a thrill from the center to the outer bounds of life. And when you crush beneath your foot the meanest worm, you shake the throne of the Most High and cause the sword of right to tremble in its sheath. The bird sings out its song for men, and men vibrate in unison to help it sing. The ant constructs her home, the bee its sheltering comb. The spider weaves her web, and flowers breath or breathe to them a spirit in their sweet perfumes that gives them strength to toil. Now, men and birds and beasts are creeping things. Now, men and birds and beasts and creeping things are deities made flesh, and how dare men kill anything? 'Tis cruelty that makes the world awry. When men have learned that when they harm a living thing, they harm themselves, they surely will not kill nor cause a thing that the Most High has made to suffer pain. A lawyer said, I pray you, Yasha, tell who is this power you speak about? Where are the priests? Where are his priests, his temples, and his shrines? And Yasha said, the power I speak about is everywhere. He cannot be compassed with walls nor hedged about with bounds of any kind. All people worship the Most High, the One, but all the people see him not alike. Now, this is the very important part right here, okay? This is the controversial part. I know some people may have a problem with, but just peep game. Because I know, according to everything we've read in the scriptures about, the gods of the other nations and things of that nature, that's what comes to mind when you get to reading and stuff, right? But Pete, what he's going to say. All people worship the Most High, the One, but all the people see him not alike. This universal God is wisdom, will, and love. All men see not the triune God. One sees him as the God of might, another as the God of thought, another as the God of love. A man's ideal is his God, and so as man unfolds, man's God today. I'm sorry, I'm reading this all crazy. I got to blow this up on my end because it's small on my end. A man's ideal is his God, and so as man unfolds, man's God today, tomorrow is not God. The nations of the earth see God from different perspectives or points of view, and so he does not seem the same to everyone. Man names the part of God he sees, and this to him is all of God. Okay, and that's where they go wrong. That's one of the places they go wrong. Okay, because they don't see the fullness. They don't see that, the Most High is in all things. They just pick one thing and be like, that's God. That's it right there. And that's what we're going to worship. We ain't going to worship nothing outside of that. But anyway, it says, and every nation sees a part of God, and every nation has a name for God. You Brahmins call him Parabrahm. In Egypt, he is Thoth, and Zeus is his name in Greece. Jehovah is his Hebrew name, but everywhere he is the causeless cause, the rootless root from which all things have grown. When men become afraid of God and take him for a foe, they dress up other men in fancy garbs and call them priests, and charge them to restrain the wrath of the Most High by prayers. And when they fail to win his favor by their prayers, to buy him off with sacrifice of animal or bird. When man sees God as one with him, as Father God, he needs no middleman, no priest to intercede. He goes straight up to him and says, my Father God, and then he lays his hand in the Most High's own hand, and all is well. And this is God. You are each one a priest just for yourself, and sacrifice of blood God does not want. Just give your life in sacrificial service to the all of life, and the Most High is pleased. When Yasha had thus said, he stood aside. The people were amazed, but strove among themselves. Check this out. Some said he is inspired by Holy Brahm, because mind you, it's just where he was, right? They're referring to it as Brahm because he was in that region or whatever, right? So, of course, you know, because that was the name that they applied to their God or whatever, you know, they're referring to mother. He said he is inspired by the Holy Brahm, and others said, nah, he is insane. And others said, yeah, he is obsessed. He speaks as devils speak. But Yasha tarried not. Among the guests was one, a tiller of the soil, a generous soul, a seeker after truth, who loved the words that Yasha spoke. And Yasha went with him, and in his home abode. Okay, so like I said, I know that'll be a little bit controversial, because him saying that like every nation of, you know, on the earth, they worship the Most High. But for those of us coming from the Bible, we know that there's like a God or a power over every nation, right? But even in that though, there's still the Most High still in all of it, regardless, right? It's just that you look at the nations, you look at these people, you look at what they into. Yes, a lot of them are off. We know that the Most High isn't present, right? They're dealing with a distorted version. They're dealing with a God who requires blood, because we know that in some of those locations, you got people who still to this day, you know, they sacrifice chickens, goats, they drink blood, they eat humans, they do all that, right? Even, I mean, the ones who are controlling the world right now, right? These dark forces, you know, they eat babies, they drink blood, they do it all, right? So yeah. Okay. I'm gonna skip down to 39, verse 39. And again, I apologize. My reading can be a little bit better. It's just I have to blow this thing up really big so I could see. Y'all probably can't tell I'm squinching my eyes to see it, but 39, chapter 39, verses 15 through 18. Okay, so matter of fact, because we were just speaking about evil stuff, wasn't we? Let me see. Let's see. Well, say you all, there is one God. This verse 6 in chapter 39. Well, say you all, there is one God from whose great being there came forth the seven spirits that created heaven and earth, and manifest unto the sons of men are these great spirits in the sun and moon and stars. But in your sacred books, we read that two among these seven are of superior strength, that one of these created all the good and the other created all that is evil. Now, outside of what we reading, I mean, you can go and look up different things, Enki, Enlil, or, biblically, you can look up Michael, Michael, the archangel, or you can look up, so-called Lucifer, or, but not, but yeah, because we're talking about from the beginning, like those who were in charge of certain things. I mean, you could read this in books like Adam and Eve, just different records. Because I brought this out before, especially the presentation I did on the archangel of Israel, the God of, or the Lord of Israel, something like that I did. It was a long time ago, but I went into that though. But yeah, anyways, I pray you, honored masters, tell me how that evil can be born of that which is all good. A magus rose and said, if you will answer me, your problem will be solved. We all do recognize the fact that evil is, whatever is, must have a cause. If the Most High, the One, made not this evil, then where is the God who did? And Yasha said, whatever God, the One, has made is good. And like the great first cause, the seven spirits all are good. And everything that comes from their creative hands is good. Now, all created things have colors, tones, and forms their own. But certain tones, though good and pure themselves, when mixed, produce inharmonies, discordant tones, and certain things, though good and pure, when mixed, produce
where the speaker is?
On the desk.
It got the cord and stuff in it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Certain things, though good and pure, when mixed, produce discordant things, poisonous things that men call evil things. So evil is the inharmonious blending of the colors, tones, or forms of good. Now, man is not all wise and yet has will his own. Check this out. Check this out right here. Let me see if I can highlight this part. It says, he has the power and he uses it to mix God's good things in a multitude of ways. And every day he makes discordant sounds and evil things. And every tone and form, be it of good or ill, becomes a living thing, a demon, a sprite or spirit of a good or vicious kind. Man makes his evil thus, and then becomes afraid of him and flees. His devil, notice how it says, his devil is emboldened, follows him away and casts him into torturing fires. Verse 18, the devil and the burning fires are both the works of man, and none can put the fires out and dissipate the evil one, but man who made them both. Then Yasha stood aside, and not a magus answered him. And he departed from the throne and went into a secret place to pray. So I got some precepts here to that, right? On how man creates his own devil, or demons or devils are not independent per se. Every think about it. All of the like the seven deadly sins or the seven vices, Every single one. Lust. There's something that's attached to that, right? Gluttony. There's something that's attached to that. And once you start engaging in these things, then you start birthing, right? You start creating your own demons, your own devils. And this is why, like I say, over the years, people who have experienced, so many different things, let's just say women who have gotten molested, and, or men who have became slaves to, porn or whatever drug addiction, whatever, right? Those are your own demons. Notice I said your own demons. They ain't nobody else's demons. They yours, that you have to face and overcome, or fight with and overcome. You dig what I'm saying? So to give you an example, and when I say this, again, I can only speak from experience. There are those out there who I've spoke with, and they said that, they've had demonic attacks, and, they just told me so many stories, right? Things that they experienced. But I never experienced those things. And that's not to say that these things don't exist or whatever, but like I told y'all, fear. I used to be scared of the dark. I know a lot of you all used to be scared of the dark, or probably still scared of the dark. But you being afraid of the dark, I'm sure was programmed into you. You know what I'm saying? You probably watched a scary movie or something like that as a child, and you know what I'm saying? It had you spooked. You didn't want to sleep in the dark or whatever. So therefore, you in your mind, right? Something has been planted in your subconscious, to where you start now forming a belief around the fact that, okay, darkness is associated with something evil. So I'm afraid of the dark. I don't want to sleep in the dark. I don't want to be in the dark. Da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? But again, once you start facing that, and you start seeing that it's only your mind, you feel me? Like, ain't nothing finna get you if you sleep in the dark. Ain't nothing to be afraid of. Once you tell yourself that, and you start believing that, you ain't gonna have no problems. Like I say, I used to be scared of the dark, but I had to face it. You know what I'm saying? I had to face it. And once I faced it, I'm not scared of the dark anymore. I don't, you know what I'm saying? None of that stuff scares me. None of it. I'll go out in the dark, stay outside. I'll spend the night outside. But let's see. I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up in a little bit, because I know it was getting late for a lot of y'all. Let's see. So I wanted to precept that though. Let me skip down to chapter 58. Okay. Chapter 58, verse 28. Okay, so it says this right here. Look. It says, in harmony and evil are the same. So evil is the handiwork of man. All right, let's skip down to chapter 83. Okay, 88. Okay. So chapter 83, verse 6 and 7. Check this out. To my point. So you got to read the whole chapter for context, but it says, it is not yours to throw the burden of your sin on any living thing. By your own deeds and evil thoughts, you have brought all these perils on yourself. You have hard problems to be solved, but you must solve them for yourself. Can't nobody else solve your problems for you. You have to solve your problems. Can't nobody save you from yourself. You have to deliver yourself from yourself. You know what I'm saying? You got to work through your trauma. Can't nobody else do that work for you. You got to do it. All right. So whatever evil you created, whatever devils you created, adversaries, whatever, you got to face those at some point and you got to overcome. That's the only way you're going to elevate. That's the only way you're going to evolve, you know? Yeah. So okay, let's go to chapter 49. Chapter 49. Okay. Let's see. Chapter 47, chapter 48, chapter 49. Okay, chapter 49. It was something I wanted to read. Okay. Oh, verse 2. Okay, so it says, I would go on and learn my lessons all. If there are trials, let them come. For every victory over self gives added strength. That's key. Okay. For every victory over self gives added strength. Remember, I told y'all, it's like a transactional type of thing, right? Where when you overcome, the Most High is going to elevate you. So the Most High saw that you put in the work, right? You gained dominion over whatever it was, right? You conquered whatever it was. And by doing so, it's going to elevate you. You're going to evolve in different ways. And also, too, we're talking about spiritual cultivation. For every victory over self gives added strength. But see, contextually, chapters 49, 48 through 55, he's going through different degrees, right? He's being tested. This is when he was in Egypt. So let me see. Let's see. And then the guy led on, and in a chamber dark as night was Yasha placed and left alone, and days were spent in this deep solitude. And Yasha slept, and in the dead of night a secret door was open, and in priest's attire 2 men came in, each carried in his hand a little flickering lamp. Approaching Yasha, one spoke out and said, young man, our hearts are grieved because of what you suffer in these fearful dens, and we have to come as friends to bring you light and show the way to liberty. We once, like you, were in these dens confined and thought that through these weird, uncanny ways we could attain the blessedness and power. But in a luckful moment, we were undeceived, and making use of all of our strength, we broke our chains, and then we learned that all this service is corruption in disguise. These priests are criminals just hid away. They boast in sacrificial rites. They offer to their gods and burn them while alive poor birds and beasts. Yeah, children, women, and men. And now they keep you here, and at a certain time may offer you in sacrifice. We pray you, brother, break your chains. Come, go with us. Accept freedom while you may. And Yasha said, you little tapers, show the light you bring. Pray who you are. Pray who are you? The words of man are worth no more than is the man himself. These temple walls are strong and high. How gained you entrance to this place? The men replied, beneath these walls are many hidden ways, and we who have been priests spent months and years within these dens know all of them. Then then you are traitors, Yasha said. A traitor is a friend. A traitor is a fiend who betrays another man and is never man to trust. I'm tripping. If one has only reached the plane of treachery, he is a lover of deceit and will betray a friend to serve his selfish self. Behold, you men, or whatsoever you be, your words fall lightly on my ears. Could I prejudge these 100 priests, turn traitor to myself and them, because of what you say when you confess your treachery? No man can judge for me. And if I judge till testimony, all is in, I might not judge aright. Nay, men, by whatsoever you way you came, return. My soul prefers the darkness of the grave to little flickering lights like these you bring. My conscience rules. What these, my brothers, have to say, I'll hear. And when the testimony all is in, I will decide. You cannot judge for me, nor I for you. Be gone, you men, be gone, and leave me to this charming light. For while the sun shines not, within my soul there is a light surpassing that of sun or moon. Then with an angry threat that they would do him harm, the wily tempters left, and Yasha was again alone. Again, the white-robed priest appeared and led the way, and Yasha stood again before the Hierophant. And not a word was said, but in his hands, the master placed a scroll on which the word suggestive justice was inscribed. And Yasha was the master of the phantom forms of prejudice and of treachery. So again, and when you study the history of the Essenes, you know that this is what they put them through, right? When we talk about the brotherhood, most of the time people think of fraternities, people think of like Freemasons and things of that nature. But y'all gotta understand that everything, or a lot of what you see in Freemasonry and all that, has been hijacked from what was done within the Essene community, right? Because even before you can become a member or considered a member of the Essene community, you had to go through like initiations and stuff. You had to be tested and all that. They had to test your will. They had to test your faith. They had to test, you know what I'm saying? It's just what they did. It was kind of sort of like a what we do today. Like if I had a community, right? And before I allow somebody to join the community, I have to perform background checks. I have to ensure that that person is who they say they are. You know what I'm saying? That they're not a potential threat or whatever the case is. They got to be tried. And there's no wrong in doing that. Like, you never know. You gotta try people and test people out. Do your background checks, because some people could be predators. You know what I'm saying? You got them around your children, and these people, they sick. So yeah, you put them through the fire. Test them, But let's see. Man, there's so many. I can spend all night on this junk, but I'm gonna just take a break right here and just tap in with y'all for a second. Like, what y'all think though? Y'all tell me, based on what I've read so far, is there anything wicked, demonic, anything that would lead you to separate from the Most High, to separate from all things good, or I mean, what? Y'all tell me. I was signing in the morning. I have to go on camera. Y'all tell me. Just keep it a buck. If you were somebody who thought the same thing, whenever I mentioned this book before or whatever, and you probably had a thought like, I don't know why he going into that book, or but now that you see, me going into the book and reading things, is it anything bad? $54, $59. And this is another one that I be going to a lot. Check this out. It says, the soul is drawn to perfect light by 4 white steeds. And these are will and faith and helpfulness and love. That which one wills to do, he has the power to do. A knowledge of that power is faith. And when faith moves, the soul begins its flight. A selfish faith leads not to light. There is no lonely pilgrim on the way to light. Men only gain the heights by helping others gain the heights. The steed that leads the way to the spirit or to spirit life is love. It's pure, unselfish love. Matheno wrote the 6th. The universal law of which Apollo speaks is child of wisdom and will divine. And the Most High has sent it forth to earth in flesh that man may know. The universal love of which the sages speak is Christ. The greatest mystery of all times lies in the way that Christ lives in the heart or mind. Christ cannot live in clammy dens of carnal things. The 7 battles must be fought, right? The 7 battles or 7 deadly sins or 7 vices. The 7 victories won before the carnal things, like fear and self, emotions and desire, are put away. When this is done, the Christ will take possession of the soul. The work is done, and man and the Most High are one. Right? So again, that's just a little bit on that. Let's go to chapter 65 real quick. This is another one that I brought out in the presentation I did a long time ago. Okay. When I read this, I want you to think of a time where you were left alone, right? And again, like I said earlier in the live, when you was in a time of crisis, you were left alone. You had to fight with your thoughts. You had to choose between, okay, am I going to do what the Most High want me to do? Or am I going to do with what my lower self or, my adversary or the Satan, right? The tempting thoughts. Am I going to give in to the tempting thoughts and do it or bow to that, right? So think of a time when you had to go through that. And I'm going to read this. And like I say, this is just Matthew 4 for real. But the harbinger had paved the way. The logos or the word had been introduced to men as love made manifest. And he must now begin his Christian ministry or Christine ministry. And he went forth into the wilderness to be alone with the Most High, that he might look into his inner heart, okay, his inner mind, and note its strength and worthiness. So he went into the wilderness, which just is another word for meditation, for real. But I mean, if you go into the wilderness, wherever you go, wilderness, mountaintop, valley, wherever, ultimately, when you go within yourself, right? Can't nobody go within you but you. Anyways, it says, and with himself, he talked. We all talk to ourselves. We all reason within our mind and everything, right? He said, my lower self is strong. By many ties, I am bound down to carnal life, because he was in the flesh. He was in the flesh. In this flesh, it limits you. You understand? But anyways, have I the strength to overcome and give my life a willing sacrifice for men? When I shall stand before the face of men, they demand a proof of my messiahship. What will I say? And then the tempter came and said, if you be the Son of the Most High, command these stones to turn to bread. And Yahshua said, who is it that demands a test? It is no sign that one is son of the Most High because he does a miracle. The devils can do mighty things as well. Did not the black magicians do great things before the Pharaoh? My words and deeds in all the walks of life shall be the proof of my messiahship. And then the tempter said, if you will go into Jerusalem and from the temple pinnacle cast down yourself to earth, the people will believe that you are the Messiah sent from the Most High. Basically want him to commit suicide, right? This you can surely do. For did not David say he gives his angels charge concerning you, and with their will they uphold lest you should fall. And Yahshua said, I may not tempt the Lord, my God or power. And then the tempter said, look forth upon the world. Behold its honors and its fame. Behold its pleasures and its wealth. If you will give your life for these, they shall be yours. Right? So think about the amount of influence that Yahshua had, right? Going around helping people, healing people, curing people, you know what I'm saying? All the wisdom, the gems he was dropping left and right. Just imagine all the people who followed him. He could have easily became a king, or you know what I'm saying? But Pete Game, Yahshua said, away from me all tempting thoughts. And see, when you read it in this way, it's more relatable. It's way more relatable. And you're not looking at it as like just this story. You know what I'm saying? Like, hold on. Because that's me. You know? All the influence I have, all the, you know, I can easily, you know what I'm saying, go out and be this type person or whatever. But no, that ain't why I'm here. It's not what I was called for. Like, no. And those be thoughts in your mind. I can't tell you how many times I've had thoughts, especially when I first came into like the Hebrew, when I first woke up to the Hebraic understanding or whatever. And then just being an artist, right? Everybody playing your music, you seeing dang near 1 million plays on songs, and you know what I'm saying? Everybody requesting you to come perform and do this and do that. It's like people, You can't do no wrong in people's eyes. Like, people love you. You know, they're supporting you, all that. You feel me? And it's like, in your mind, you be having these thoughts of how you can take advantage of that, right? You know, and you can make money off the people, you know, because they love you so much, they willing to, you know, they gonna do whatever you ask for. Like, yeah, if you had that type of heart. But see, that's why even then I was able to realize, I'm like, okay, nah, I see where this could go. That's why I made the song Human. I was like, don't put me on a pedestal. I got issues too. I'm just like you. I'm human. You dig what I'm saying? So I'm letting the people know, like, no, I don't want to be worshipped. I don't want to be, you know, looked at as anything other than, you know, a brother. No. Even when I was in the world, I had one foot into the music industry. Of course, I had tempting thoughts. I'm just like, bro, I can smash any female I want to. Like, just me being in the position that I'm in, I get it. I'm telling you, I'm just like, bro, I can go around, I can make all this money. I can smash all the females I want to. I can do whatever if I chose to go that route. But I didn't go that route. I chose not to. I stayed the course. You dig what I'm saying? I stayed the course. And I did what the Most High wanted me to do. Even being a part of that community. Like, I didn't want to be more than what, you know. So yeah, same thing here. It's so relatable when you reading it from this point of view, you know. So he said, away from me all tempting thoughts. My heart or my mind is fixed. I spurn this carnal self with all its vain ambition and its pride, ego, right? For 40 days did Yasha wrestle with his carnal self. He wrestled with his carnal self, but his higher self prevailed. He then was hungry, but his friends had found him and they ministered to him. And Yasha left the wilderness, and in the conscience of holy breath, he came unto the camps of John and taught. Now, look, a lot of people would say, what you mean Yasha wrestled with his carnal self? You saying Yasha was carnal? You said Yasha had the devil in him and stuff. What you trying to say? And this is what people was trying to get at me about a long time ago when I put out that presentation, when I said that Yasha had a devil, or I say he had a Satan. See, again, the thing about me that y'all have to understand is I'm very technical. Like, when I throw certain words out there, I know what those words mean. I'm not telling you nothing crazy. If you look at the etymology of the word Satan, it just means adversary. It just means opposer, one who opposes, right? It's not a thing or a person, or, you know what I'm saying? It's not what Satan is. And then also too, in the scriptures, it even tells you that he came the same way we came. He took on this flesh to deal with the same things we deal with. You dig what I'm saying? So if all of us have an animal nature, this human body, this flesh has an animal side to it, and that's the flesh itself, right? It has impulses, it has desires, it has all that. The senses, all that. What made him any different? He had the same thing. He had to take on those things to show you that what you saw him doing or read him doing, you can do it too. You know, therefore showing you that there's no excuse. So yes, when it says that he wrestled with his carnal self, where's the wrong in that? Again, we got to stop looking at it so religiously and just start looking at it like for what it is. Like, anyway, We're gonna go to chapter 66. I'm gonna stop probably in 15 minutes, but I'm close to the end anyways. So chapter 66, check this out. Giving up cravings of the self. So chapter 66, verse 19 and 20. Check this out. He who would follow me must give up all cravings of the self and lose his life in saving life. This same thing Uncle what his name? Uncle Gyro said in Avatar. But anyways, yeah, you must give up all the cravings of the self. What self? The lower self, the flesh. The cravings of the flesh, and lose your life in saving life. I come to save the lost, and man is saved when he is rescued from himself. But men are slow. Men are slow. Women are slow to comprehend this teaching of the Christ. Right? So when we say, yeah, I've died many times, I don't mean that literally. I mean that figuratively. Like I've died, I've killed, like, you know what I'm saying? When I say I killed that old man, I'm talking about when I was in the flesh, right? I was operating in the flesh when I was a slave to the flesh and everything like that. So again, it's just metaphors, like metaphorically speaking. You got to lose your life in saving life. Let's go to chapter 68, verse 10 through 20. So look, it says this. Matter of fact, no, we ain't gonna read that one. 837. Did we read 83? Oh yeah, we did 8371. What's this one? Chapter 111. Chapter 111. Okay. 111. Oh, check this out right here. Okay, this is gonna be the last one. Like I said, I got a whole bunch of them. I ain't even got into like chapters 160 and 70 yet, but anyway, I'm gonna just read 1 through 8. And Yasha taught the multitudes, and while he spoke, a man stood forth and said, Rabboni, hear my plea. My father died and left a large estate. My brother seized it all and now refuses me my share. I pray that you will bid him do the right and give what is mine. And Yasha said, I am not come to be a judge in such affairs. I am no henchman of the court. The Most High sent me not to force a man to do the right. In every man there is a sense of right, but many men regard it not. The fumes that rise from selfishness have formed a crust about their sense of right that veils their inner light, so that they cannot comprehend nor recognize the rights of other men. This veil you cannot tear away by force of arms, and there is naught that can dissolve this crust but knowledge and love of the Most High. Let me see if I want to read the rest of it. Okay, I'll read the rest of it. But that's key though, you know what I'm saying? Straight wisdom, straight gems, man. While men are in the mire, the skies seem far away. When men are on the mountaintop, the skies are near, and they can almost touch the stars. But then Yasha turned and to the 12, he said, behold, the many in the mire of carnal life. The leaven of truth will change the miry clay to solid rock, and men can walk and find the path that leads up to the mountaintop. You cannot haste, but you can scatter forth this leaven with a generous hand. When men have learned the truth that bears upon its face the law of right, then they will haste to give every man his dues. Then to the people Yahshua said, take heed and covet not. The wealth of men does not consist in what they seem to have, in lands, in silver, and in gold. These things are only borrowed wealth. No man can corner up the gifts of the Most High. The things of nature are the things, or are what belongs to the Most High, right? Yeah, like I say, and what is the Most High's belongs to every man alike. The wealth of soul lies in the purity of life and the wisdom that descends from heaven. Behold, a rich man's ground brought forth abundantly. His barns were far too small to hold his grain. And to himself he said, what shall I do? I must not give my grain away. I must not let it go to waste. And then he said, this will I do. I will tear down these little barns and build up larger ones. There I will store away my grain, and I will say, my soul, take now your ease. You have enough for many years. Eat, drink, and fill yourself, and be content. But the Most High looked down and saw the man. He saw his selfish heart and said, you foolish man, this night your soul will quit its house of flesh. Then who will have your garnet wealth? You men of Galilee, lay not up treasures in the vaults of earth. Accumulated wealth will blight your soul. The Most High does not give men wealth to hoard away in secret vaults. Men are but stewards of the Most High's wealth, and they must use it for the common good. To every steward who is true to self, to other men, to everything that is, the Most High will say, well done. Right? What time is it? 10:48. So, yeah, I mean, that was something else. One second. I'm trying to find something. Okay, here you go. 84. Oh, 84. All right. I promise this is the last one I'm going to read. And then I'm going to get to y'all for a little bit. And then, we just going to roll out. Let y'all have the rest of y'all evening. I know some of y'all going to be celebrating. What's tomorrow? Easter. I know Passover was on different weeks a few weeks ago, but we in April. Yeah, they had a Passover in March, Passover in April, just on different weeks. Last week was Passover, the week before that was Passover, the week before that was Passover. For different people, people be going by different things, by the sun, by the moon, and by the bam, by the boom. So let's see, chapter 84. Look at this, chapter verse 6 say, the Lord of hosts has set apart the Israelites to teach the unity of the Most High and man, but one can never teach that which he does not demonstrate in life. No, they're right. They don't even teach that for real. They don't even acknowledge that. So how they can't even teach it. They can't even demonstrate it to them. Anyway, our power is spirit, and in him all wisdom, love, and strength abide. And every man, these sacred attributes are budding forth and in due time they will unfold. The demonstration will completed be, and man will comprehend the fact of unity. Anyways, that's not what I wanted to read though. I wanted to get down to verse 16. And Yasha saw a woman on a couch in sore distress, for she was sick nigh unto death. She could not speak, but she had heard that Yasha was a man of the Most High. And in her heart or her mind, she called on him for help. And Yasha helped. He did not speak, but like a flash of light, a mighty virtue from his soul filled full the body of the dying one. And she arose and joined her kindred while they prayed. Her kindred were astonished, and they said to her, how were you healed? And she replied, I do not know. I simply asked the man of the Most High in thought for healing power, and in a moment I was well. The people said, the gods have surely come to earth, for man has not the power to heal by thought, right? But I just want to stop right there real quick. Stop right there real quick. You see how fast, how quick, you see how fast and quick they were just like, oh, it was some other guys. It was the guys, you know, came and did this, right? And they had no belief in themselves. They had no belief. They had no faith, right? That they themselves, by the power of thought, right, could heal. Because what we read in that other chapter, the laws of nature, Yasha finna reiterate that though, right? But Yasha said the greatest power in heaven and earth is thought. The Most High made the universe by thought. He paints the lily and the rose with thought. Why think it strange that I should send a healing thought and change the ethers of disease and death to those of health and life? Lo, you shall see far greater things than this. For by the power of holy thought, my body will be changed from carnal flesh to spirit form, and so will yours. Right? So, again, man, I'm gonna just go ahead and end it right there. But yeah, it's a good book, man. It's a good book. Like I said, I know a lot of people are very iffy and very but I'm the type of individual, bro. If I go through a book and it has wisdom in it that I can apply to my life, it's gonna stay in my arsenal. It's gonna, you know what I'm saying? I'm always go to it, you know. I don't care about all the stuff people say about the books. I don't care. I really don't. Because according to everything I just read, you see why I be saying the things I be saying. Right? Like how I don't care if somebody says that, well, that book was written by this person or that book was written by that person. And I don't care about none of that. Right? Yeah, I look into the author. I look into what their intentions were and stuff like that. But aside from all that, bro, like if what I'm reading promotes balance, you understand what I'm saying? Like it pulls you away from separation. It pulls you away from sin. If it pulls you away from anything that is that will be detrimental to you and those around you, right? If it's promoting all things good, I don't see what the problem is. I really don't. I don't see what the problem is. So everything I read to y'all out this book, again, is there wisdom outside of the Bible that will lead you back to the Most High or lead you to the Most High? Yes. Very good book. It's so crazy because, like I said, I was being ridiculed. You know, people that I know when they saw these books, saw me with these books. What you doing with that? You know what I'm saying? What you doing with that book? Like what? Oh, yeah, you go reading books outside the Bible. I don't never see you in your Bible. You'll never see. I'm just like, okay. And say my phone died. I was doing my son's hair while watching on TV. Couldn't reply to the questions asked. I think it's very interesting how it relates deeply to scripture. Nothing is wrong with reading it. I need the book for myself. I also believe we're battling with self demons. Are real though. Hold on, what? I also believe we're battling with self demons. Real. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Ultimately, that's what I was saying. Like they're real because you, and I'm not speaking about you, but I'm speaking in general. Like you convinced yourself, you know what I'm saying? Not only that, but you have created within your mind and think that these things really do exist or whatever. But like even outside of what we know biblically, like when you look at it from a scientific standpoint, right? Um, you start going into like frequencies and you know what I'm saying, the vibrations and everything like that. Like you get into the metaphysics of it, then you start seeing it on another level. Like, okay, I see how it's affecting my brain, right? So it's that's what I'm saying. Like the more you learn about yourself, when you study anatomy, you study like psychology, physiology, you study all those things, you start seeing that a lot of what we read in the Bible, you know, a lot of this stuff is taking place inside of our brains, right? And you got to understand, not only is the brain programmable, but the body is programmable as well. The body holds memory, you're right. We have energy inside of us, and you know, when we go throughout life and we have these different experiences and stuff, we create energetic blockages, and we be having these blockages without ever like going through the process of healing and you know what I'm saying, unblocking and all of that. So, you know, a lot of it just throws, like I said in the book, right? Just think of your body as an instrument. It's thrown out of tune, out of balance. It's a lot of inharmonies, disharmonies going on within you, right? But I don't know, man. All I'm saying is that I can sit up there and I can read all that, and I can, you know, I can read about Yasha, and somebody will come right back and say, "Oh, he doesn't believe in Yasha. He doesn't believe in Yasha. He doesn't believe." Like how, bro? Like, but yeah, I'm about to get up off here though, man. It's 11 o'clock. I'm getting tired. I'm about to go eat me another bowl of spaghetti. Y'all got questions or anything? Go ahead and shoot them. Like 10 more minutes, and I'm out. 10 more minutes. DATY. Data rules everything around me. They want your data. They want your data. Y'all got any questions? Holler at me. Holler at me. Speak up. Oh, what'd you say? Yes, I was speaking out experiences too, and others. Energy doesn't die, it transfers. Yeah. It's deep. It's deep. You know what I'm saying? And it's like when I say that we create our own demons, you're right. Like whenever we fall into them spaces where we become addicted to something, we become slaves to something or whatever, we have demons or whatever attached to us and all that, right? Now, if you want to go even deeper, I am not by no stretch of the imagination ruling out that there are other realms, right, that we can't see, other dimensions and things of that nature, where you have entities operating in and all that, right? Like, perfect example, there's many examples out there, but like, what's that TV show that came out on Netflix? Stranger Things, how he had the upside down. But did they refer to it as the upside down, the world or whatever? But the people, I guess they died or they didn't. I don't know. But they was operating in the upside down. I believe that's for real. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing. It's just like we can't see what cats and dogs and certain type of animals, we can't see what they see. A lot of times cats be good to have because they can see, you know what I'm saying? I probably get this all mixed up, but they can see in ultraviolet, right? They can see beyond what we can see. Dogs too, they can sense like bad energy, all that. So I'm not saying that that's not real. I'm not saying that, but you know. But again, though, like even if that was a thing, though, which I think it is, but all I'm saying is that it shouldn't be something we fear. I know some people out there fear it, but we shouldn't fear it though, because none of that stuff have power over us unless we give it power, right? No matter what it is, you have to understand that those things are more afraid of us than we know. And also, right, because we are more powerful, we can put those things under subjection. Like we can, you know what I'm saying? They become subservient to us. but we just have to be in a position where we, you know, are operating in our higher selves, you know, operating with love and, you know, all that, where we can start commanding and, you know, all that. So, I'm about to go and get off, man. But yeah, I just wanted to go into that book. I'm gonna go into my other books too. I got like 3 more that I want to go into and just, you know, just kind of skim through them and show you that it's not what you think, that there's actually a lot of good information in it that can help you in your healing, in your, you know, your walk, you know. And again, you know, I'm the type of individual, I'm gonna encourage you to, you know, don't be afraid of books. Don't be afraid of information. Like, all information is neutral. You know what I'm saying? It's only when it passes through you and your imprinted polarity that it becomes good or evil. But ultimately, it's neutral. Like, you know, you gotta look through it. You gotta chew the meat, spit out the bones. If you resonate with it, you resonate with it. If you don't, you don't. But look, man, peace, love, and light. I love y'all, man. Y'all stay up, stay blessed. Keep doing y'all thing. Keep striving for greatness. Keep working on yourselves. Stay prayed up. You know what I'm saying? Keep your loved ones in prayer. Just yeah. You know, stay out the way. Stay low key. You know what I'm saying? Don't allow what's going on in the world to stop you, hold you back from, you know, accomplishing the goals that you created for yourself and all that. Keep striving, man. Keep working. Keep going. Right? But at the same time, always keep it in the back of your mind on what time it is. Just keep your eyes open, keep your head on the swivel. You know, be mindful of who, of the company you keep, and all that stuff. So again, y'all just keep striving to be the best you can be. And see y'all on the flip side. Peace, love, and light.